Hello everyone, today we're going to take a look at these GEPRC 1106 4500 kV motors. And this is my test rig. This is recently I switched to this test rig. This is a Fly Fox. I'm actually running two different test rigs depending upon the motors I'm testing. But I will put the weight of the motor up on the screen because I apparently lost the picture I took of the weight. So I'll have to do that after I record this video and take this motor off. The motor wires are nice and silicone based. There's really nothing to strike you there. I think the length will be plenty long. This is a 135 millimeter frame, so it should fit most installations, I would think, with the stock motor wire, because it did chop off about a ½ inch off the ends of all these before I re-tinned them and applied them. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the weight of this rig. So my dry weight is a little bit over 86.5 grams. As far as the performance goes and the efficiencies, I think they fly pretty well. I did find that these don't get quite as hot, but also the weather has cooled down recently a little bit. Instead of running 97 to 102 or 103 degrees, we've been back down into the high 80s, maybe low 90s. We have had a few storms kick through with some humidity. What I've always been looking for in motors is actually on the SkyStar's X120. If you don't remember this one, this is just a speed demon with all sorts of lift. I'll put that up here. If you want to watch it later, I'll also include that in the description down below. And let's just get a weight of this so you can compare it to that. So the SkyStar's X120 is 85.5 grams. So the weight between these two is very, very comparable, but the performance of these motors is pretty dramatically better. But they do get hotter. So long term, I can't say how long they'll last. Of course, I've been flying this quite a bit. Sometimes I throw an action cam on top and fly it around just for some fun. I do more cruising when I do that. But this is kind of what I am trying to find or achieve. And the short answer would be, well, just buy some more of these motors. Problem is you can't. I can't find these. If you can find these somewhere, let me know and I'll buy some more of them, because I think these motors on this weight of vehicle running 2.5 inch props is really, really good. That's why I recommended this model, and I still today recommend it. It's great. Unfortunately, a lot of people are getting kits and they don't come with any instructions, and so you have to dig around. You have to kind of find out what the pinout is for the flight controller and how you should wire everything up. So if you do get it, I highly recommend that you get a Ready to Fly or the Bind and Fly version. Before we get into the flight video, some people might ask about 3-inch props. I don't really think 3-inch props are going to be performance-based on an 11.0X motor. You can do it. Obviously, we've seen the Baby Hawk do it. We've seen the Fly Fox or Small Fox, whatever they're calling that. I forget now from my RC Mart. I still don't know if Banggood is carrying that one yet. But it really reduces the overall performance as far as your upward thrust goes. You know, when you hit the 100% throttle for a moment or two to get that lift so you can throw it up over something, and also your torque at the low end. So if say you're riding into a turn with speed, or you need to hit the throttle hard to make a correction if you get out of shape, it reduces your performance on both ends there. So I think while you can do it and the models can get away with it, and sometimes the result is a much longer flight time, as far as pure performance goes, it's just not a good match in my opinion, and therefore that's why I haven't tested it here. If there is a lot of interest in that sort of test, I might give it a go. But essentially what you can do is, if you see the flight time and your performance that you see on screen when I test on 2.5 inch props, just reduce that performance a little bit and increase the flight time a little bit, and that's about where your evaluation is going to be. Currently, these motors are coming in at $12.90 on Banggood. They've got 3 different kV versions. Of course, 4500 I believe is the only one they recommend for running 4S, which I am doing in this video. And I'm also running it with a 450 milliamp 4S China Hobbyline Mini Star battery, as you see here in front, and that yield the flight time and the performance that you see on screen. Now, I will be doing more testing. I've changed my test rigs over to this for both 1100 series motors as well as 1400 series motors. I really think that if you're looking for a 3-inch prop and size machine, like this machine can run a 3-inch prop, you can see I got plenty of clearance here, that you probably need to look more towards the 1400 series motors for performance. Again, running 3-inch props on this, it doesn't give you any dimension advantage. It does give you a little bit of a weight advantage and maybe with some safety advantage. But you know, I think that if you're going to run this dimension with 1100 series motors, 2.5 inch props is really the sweet spot. The next motors I'll be testing are the iFlight Tachyons. I have a set of those, so I'll be putting those on here directly. I'm going to roll the flight footage. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please leave those in that section down below. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.